Hello, Redemption Church. My name is Daniel Owen, and I am the missions director here at Redemption Church. And wanted to get together today and talk a little bit about what God is doing in South Alabama, America, and the world. And I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Mary Ann, and for security reasons, we've got her silhouetted, and we're not going to use her last name and other different details. But Mary Ann is a missionary sent out by our church, and we have a monthly mission call where we have all of our church planners and missionaries from all over the United States and the world. We just had one of those calls, and it's always such a blessing to hear what God is doing all over the United States and all over the world. And one of the reasons we can do that is because of you and your generosity. You give, and because you give, the gospel goes out all over the United States and all over the world. But without further ado, I want to just turn it over to Mary Ann and get her to tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does and what God is doing in and through her ministry. So, Mary Ann, welcome.
Thank you, Daniel. It's good to be here with you today. As Daniel said, my name is Mary Ann, and I am here from South Alabama. This is home for me. I joined Redemption in 1993 and was sent out in 2001. So I've been in Southeast Asia for the last almost 19 years, serving in Indonesia and now in Malaysia.
Well, tell us a little bit over the time that you've been out there on the field. What are some really cool things that you've seen God doing, and even here lately, what are some cool things that you've seen God do?
Some of the things that really stand out to me are just watching people grow as they're being discipled in Christ. And I think in particular, when I look back from when I first went to the field to now, seeing the local church in Southeast Asia, just really having that heart and that vision for their people to come to faith in Christ. When I first went overseas, I didn't see that, but now we see churches and we see countries like Indonesia are sending missionaries to Malaysia and other parts of Southeast Asia. We are just truly blessed.
As the world really has been social distancing, and they've had stay-at-home orders, and there's a lot of different things going on right now. And as I've talked to friends and I've talked to family, there's a lot of different stresses that are happening right now. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like? Dealing with the stress of that, dealing with the loneliness, the isolation, dealing with missing out on family events and birthdays and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that is so true. As a sent out one from Redemption who's been on the field and across the world for the past 18 years, I've definitely missed out on so many things with family and friends. And those are challenging things. I think the big thing that I've noticed is that, number one, God cares about the fact that I'm grieving. He cares about the fact that I'm missing those things. And so I am able to just come to him in honesty about my grief, about missing out on those things and missing my family. And I know that as my Abba Father, he hears me and he loves me. The other thing is it just draws me closer into an abiding relationship with him, because it reminds me of who I am and that is most important. I belong to him. And all I do over and over again during those times is I go to his word. Pastor Ed recently reminded us about Psalm 91, and I would encourage you to take a few minutes to read Psalm 91. But it starts off with, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust, for he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a buckler. And my big encouragement to all of you, all of us as a church, is that we have to go back to who we are in Christ and remember who he is. He is unchanging. He is faithful. He is good. And that is the most important thing that we can do, is abide in him, remember who he is, and who we are through him.